Well, good morning everybody. Here we are for our last tile of our Advent package. Now, I can't believe it's 24 already. It's gone so quickly. But looking at what everybody's put on the Facebook page, do you know what? I think you're doing absolutely fantastic. And of course, this is the last one to go today. And I thought we'd get this drawn. I've got my white pencil here and add a bit of white. And of course, a little bit of colour to it, I think, as well. So I'm not going to do all of it. I'm just going to sort of start it off and then let you go and do your own thing with it, because I'm sure we're all very busy today. I know I certainly am. I'm prepping ready for tomorrow as well. So it should be good. I'm really looking forward to it. So, okay, for the last time this year, let's pick up our pencil and mark in our lines down the middle. So this is a freshly inked tile because I lost one, but I'm fine. It's still going to fit in. I think this is still going to ease off a little bit in terms of the darkness, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be part of all the rest of it, isn't it? So here we go. Okay, where are we going to start? Should we start with this one? It sort of disappears, doesn't it? So we know it's going to come around and along here. So I'm going to start with pencil and draw this one in. Now it's going to sort of not go right to the point because this is in the way. So it's sort of going to head about there. Now, of course, you're going to look at yours and make that decision as to where it should or shouldn't be going. Okay, just look on my desk. I've got two desks in my craft room at the minute because we had to move one out the way for the boiler the other day. So that got a little bit crazy. So I can't find anything in here at the minute. I've just got stuff everywhere. I found a rubber though. There we go, look at that. Part of a rubber. There we are. Okay, there's that first bit. So, okay, I'm going to bring this one round and create that little aura. And again, it's going to get a little bit thinner and come off to that point. Oh, morning everybody. It's lovely to see you. Well, hear you or read you. Yeah, what a journey we've been on, eh? Another year. Well, it's not over yet. We've still got a couple more tiles. I'm sure we can sneak in before the new year. But, you know how lovely that. You've got a mum and daughter walking past my window this morning, and they're still in their pyjamas. And I am actually physically dressed. So, okay. So that's that section. Let's look at this one then. I'm going to bring this in while I've got the pencil in hand. Turn it round a little bit. And then this one, I am going to join in. There you go, to the point there. Maybe that's a little bit too wide. The beauty of having a pencil and a rubber, of course, is that you can make these little changes as you go. And along. And this is going to come to a point. So is this one. There you go, I'm in the flow of it. Now this one, as we know, it doesn't go all the way down, so maybe it's about. Okay. All right, so before we just move over to pen, we've always got to address these little ones here, haven't we? Because as they step down. So I'm going to put a couple in. So this one, see, it's going to step here. And then another one. I'm going to do one more. And I'll put my little points in. Okay, so we don't need all of that. We're just going to do a little bit of it. And then same with this one here. Let's have a look at it. So it's quite small to start with, isn't it? So let's step it down and down. And probably get a real small one in there. And then that is it and done for those little shapes. I know this one's gone down further. But if you look around, you see we're getting really small here. So we've got to follow what we've already got. So you might find that, you know, you can do a few more, and that's fine. I'm just going to stop at where I feel I need to. Oh, thank you, Debbie. That's really appreciated, honestly. Okay, so let's, just before we start, I just want to show you something, and I'm so excited about this, because they arrived literally at the end of our tile yesterday. Look at that. So we're going to give it a try, see what we think. Okay. So first things first then, let's draw these lines in. So following that along and down, and same with this one. There we go, down. Oh, good morning, Nadia and Deborah, and I'm sure I saw Kathy and Marie, Margaret. It's lovely to have you all with me. I'm sure you're all very busy, unless you're very organised and have got everything done. So, Christmas this year is a little bit different for John and I, as you well know, because we'll be out tomorrow at certain studios doing something that's never been done before that I know of. Excuse me, and that is, doing a live craft channel on Christmas Day. Really looking forward to it. We've got a great team on. Not that anybody that's not on isn't a great team, but we've got a great team on tomorrow, and we're all looking forward to it. Everybody's really excited. And there we go. All right, so there's our first bits drawn in. Okay. So let's go in now. I'm going to start with, I think, the lines. Let's put those in because we know that they work quite nicely. There we are. Okay. So as you're sort of drawing this one out, it must be quite exciting to sort of think, well, what am I going to do with it? Am I actually going to colour it? Am I just going to shade it? Am I going to frame it? Am I going to cut it up and, matte and layer it so there's a little bit of space around it? I haven't completely decided on that yet. I think last year's is all together with a frame. So this one, I don't know, I think I'm sort of a bit tempted to separate them all just a little bit so there's a little step between them. But I think I've got to colour it first and put all that together, and then I can make my decision. But I can be doing that over the next few weeks, I'm sure. There's no rush. And of course, because it's not a particular Christmas design, then you can do it all year through, really. You can take as long as you like on it. The whole point is having a little bit of time each day to do something and just building our confidence at actually drawing something a little bit bigger. When you think each one is a tiny tile, it's quite impressive what we've all done, isn't it? There you go. All right, those lines. Morning, Sheila and Sharon. There we go. So I've got my lines in both. So we know that we're going to put this sort of shape in now, and I didn't particularly start anywhere with these because we know that they've not got to match. But you could have started at the middle, at the top if you wanted, but it didn't really matter. There we go. And with those little lines there. And let's just add in those little leaf shapes. See, they're getting smaller as you work your way down. And then we've got those loops up the middle, one side and then the other. I think we know that pretty well now, and maybe this is one that you're going to use a lot. Because they are loops, but we're flattening them at the top. That's something a little bit different. We usually keep them round. Hi, Ree. Morning, Sue. No, it's great that you've joined me. There we are. Okay. So if I do the same with this one now, and put those little shapes in. Oh, I think I'm going to do it that way, so I can have a quick sip of tea while I'm doing it. That's better. It feels better to me. Never be afraid to move your piece around so it's more comfortable for you to draw it. Don't always think you've got to keep it the same way as I have, because it's going to be different for everybody. There we go. And then, of course, having our little leafy shapes. And see, just sort of working it right there, ever so small there. And then, again, our little loops. Just finishes that design off there. Yeah. Oh, lost my place. Had a quick sip of tea and lost my place. There you go. See, when they get really small, you can't really do much. There we go. That's our first little bit. So finishing these off is the next stage. And of course follow that top line and it'll give you a little bit of a step that you need there. There you go, and join those back. And only if you've got the space you can put those little lines in. See, there's not enough room, so I'm not going to do that. The same on this one. Good morning, Maureen. Hope you're okay. Here we are doing our last one. There we go. So as we know now, we've got these two shapes, and because we left this until the very end, it's nice to now fill it in. And this is the kind of thing we're going to be doing with it. So let's just sort of, I'm going to put it to one side. It doesn't matter which way you start, but we're going to go in with 1, 2 curves, and then we did a row of bubbles. There we go. And then turned it slightly and another curve. So you're going the opposite way. 2 of those and a row of bubbles. Now you can make these as large or as small as you want. But just take your time on those bubbles because it's just nice, you know, to have a moment with them. There we are. See, just sort of along we go. Oh yeah. And then again. 1 and 2. Oh, I know it's sort of going over a tile. That's okay, just take your time. And if you need to, you can start, you know, at both ends and meet in the middle. It's fine. And along we go. 1 and 2. And then again, back with those bubbles. Just sort of as we go. Then again, 1 and 2, and along with those bubbles. You see, we just sort of keep like, oh, I've got to go across all of them now. Look at that. Take your time though, it's fine. But it brings the image together, doesn't it? And the same here. Now before we go today, I'll show you the image that we did last year. I actually stitched mine together. Well, put some stitches down it at least. Okay, so that's that one done. So we're going to repeat that process on this one here. And again, it doesn't matter which way you start. I've not really thought about them all being the same. Maybe they are because that's instinct, I don't know. But I don't really mind. So here we go. So I'll just put in some bubbles in there. Oh, hi Susan. Hi Sue. And thank you. We do it pretty hard, but do you know what? We laugh a lot. We enjoy what we're doing. And we actually, you know, feel that we've got a responsibility to make sure that you're all looked after. And we do it with utmost care. I know sometimes we might make a mistake, we might send the wrong thing out, or not the right thing at all. I know it's been quite frustrating with the recent strikes, but we continue to do the best we can, and hopefully, you know, you will understand that, which you do. So yeah, we're a team, and we wouldn't be able to do what we do if it wasn't for all of you following along and enjoying this. So thank you to everybody who's come along for this crazy ride. So, okay, we've got this sort of space here, and on the, let's say the original, I say that quite loosely, we're going to add those little loops, one there, one there. And I'm going to put some little dots in here. Well, getting smaller as I work my way up. There we go. Then we've got a little bit of a gap here. I think, do you know what? Do I want to leave it? I'm going to put another one of these loops in. And that's sort of going off a little bit the original, but it doesn't matter. I've got the space. So I'm going to do it. There we go. All right. So with that done and sorted, I'm going to bring my rubber in. Oh, goodness me, there it is. Lost it again. And let's rub out those pencil marks that we don't need anymore. and bring in the pencil. Okay, so let's start with, let's start in the middle actually. We'll work with these little shapes here. There we go. Now, you know, it might just be that you've got to work between one and the other. See? There we go. I know, Sue. And I'm sure you'll all be pleased to know that our courier, who was live on the Advent tile the other morning, came yesterday. He's found the last parcel and that got delivered, so we can have our wood bits and pieces again, and he was a lot happier. So he's okay. I know he was a little bit stressed the other day, but he was okay. Here you are. Okay, see, I've gone round the edges there and just into that little bit there, and the same on this one. So go a little bit on. I know it's a little bit awkward when you're on the edge of a tile there, but that's okay. Tortillon will sort of soften all that out a little bit. And not much to do there because it's already done. A little bit here. Oh, Money Chris, where you been? We've been up for hours. Not really, to be honest. We did have a little bit of a lie-in. Only a little bit, but I was working late. Okay, a little bit there, and I'm going to put a little bit either side. There you go. And of course. Okay, all right. Let's bring that tortillon in. And, okay, I'm going to soften off all my edges. Sort of working it round there. See, just sort of easing it off, just like we did. So it's a little more awkward because we're trying to work around a lot of tiles there, but you know, just sort of work up towards the edge. That's absolutely fine. There we go. Little bits in there, not much. It's not really much to shade, is there, this morning? Sort of already all been done mostly. Just want to add those fine last little bits. Okay. Do you know, I think it's a really nice little piece, this. You know, when you first draw it, you think, okay, how are we going to do this? But this year in particular, I've actually followed it just like you have, just a single tile every day. So I've not looked at the final piece for a while. Okay, that's our shading done. Let's have a little look at that. All right, see, so it just fits in ever so nicely, almost as though I didn't lose a tile at the beginning and have to re-ink one. So, okay, I'm going to bring in my white chalky pencil. And let's have a look across the piece. So the first thing is, let's start here, is this sort of row of lines. I'm going to come in and add some white to the middle of those. There we go. Now if you've got a little bit of pencil that goes all to the middle, you might be better off rubbing that bit out first, because I know that the chalky pencil doesn't always like to go over regular pencil. But if you've got, see, if you've got a bit of what was already there, it's fine, it goes on no problem. So if not, what you can do, look, just cut a little bit off your rubber like I have here, which I'm going to have because that's the only bit I've got, and then just go along and remove, like this, just go along and remove some of that pencil in the middle, and then your chalk pencil will sit on a lot better. So I'm going to go across the whole of the piece now, and all of those lines, you see I'm adding this white line in. So just sort of, you know, work your way around. I mean, there's a few of those, isn't there? So, and of course, I'm not going to blend this out, so you can go ahead and do that. All right. So that's this first. Oh, there's a little bit here, look, as well. There we go. And then any other sort of shapes like this. So even these. Now you can decide, you might want to put a little bit of gel in there or a little bit of colour. But I think for the initial, I'm going to come in and still put that highlight in. Okay, because that's what we've done. We've left that little bit in the middle there, ready for such a thing. Okay, so let's find another. This is quite nice going around a big piece, isn't it? And just adding this in. I'm glad I left it till the end. Okay, let's see, there's one here. Just sort of brings that shape around a bit, doesn't it? There we go. So that's the first sort of protocol. First thing I would do, and again, see here, we could come straight across there and down these little shapes. So wherever you've got a little bit of a highlight already, you can go in and enhance it with your pencil. I mean, that'll take quite a bit of time to sort of go over and do everything, as you could imagine. But that's sort of where we're heading with that kind of thing. Even sort of down those there. We don't want to be spending all day on this, but you can sort of see where I'm going. So if we look at these shapes as well, where I've actually got the dark, I'm going to put my white on the opposite side, you know, just a little bit, just to sort of enhance that side a bit. So you don't really have to think about this now, it's just almost, it's already been decided for you where these things are going to go. You see, that gives that little bit of a highlight there. Let's have a look. Okay. And then, of course, if you want to, you can add a little bit just underneath those lines, because again, it's sort of the opposite end to where we put the darkness. And that gives that a little bit of light too. And then on these, of course, a little bit. And it depends, because if you've got quite a dark tile, adding these white highlights is really going to bring that out. But if you've got a pale tile or you've not done much, then maybe not so much. You see how that's starting to just add those little highlights. But in order to sort of bring those highlights out, we've also got to think about a little bit of darkness. So let's have a look what I've got here. I'm going to bring in, oh, I've got a black pencil somewhere. 1 second. There we go, black pencil. Okay, so working on the same sort of area, if I work on this bit, because I've got all my highlights and things, where I've got my real dark bits, I can come in and add a little hint. Now you'll notice I'm not doing the whole piece, I'm just doing part of it, because we've already got some shade in there with the black, the regular pencil. So it doesn't need to be the whole thing. But you see how immediately that's making it stand out. And then the same here, I'm going to just do a little bit at the top. 1 second. Just going to sharpen it a little bit more. I'll make sure we're working with sharp pencils there. There we go. You see, just adding a little bit coming down. Now, of course, you can colour it however you like. I'm just giving you a little bit of a hint on how it could be. Okay, so you don't want to be drawing around the whole thing with your black pencil. You just want to be adding little bits. See, look at the difference there. Oh, Sue. It's Christmas though, isn't it? No, you can just sit and watch. There's never an obligation. But, I'm looking forward to going on there though. So you see, I'm not drawing all the way around it. I'm doing just little bits around those curves. And you see how it's really bringing it up there. It just needs a little bit of darkness, see, in order to bring that light out. And this is where you think, well, do you know what? There's certain parts of my piece look I really want to bring those out. They are the ones that you sort of do this on, and you bring those to life. So if there's a particular piece you think, you know what, I didn't do that so well, then don't add any colour to that. Just add some colour to the bits that you like the look of. Okay, so we've got that kind of thing going on. All right, so being that I've got blue and pink in the background, I'm going to come in with a bit of blue. And again, let's just check that I've got a sharp pencil. It's good to start with one. Oh, bless me. Okay, so here we go. What am I going to do with this? I think it needs maybe a hint of colour. So because I've already added my shading, adding pencil colours over the top isn't going to be too bad. You've not got to try and blend it. You've not got to try and completely cover it. It's just about adding a little bit of colour in there. Okay, so see here, it just needs a little bit more going in there. 1 second. And I'm just going to bring in a lighter blue just to finish that bit off there. You see, just sort of blending it out. I'm not going to completely fill it because I've not decided yet if I want a really strong colour. I'm just working in where the shading sort of is and looks like that. See, little bits of blue coming in. And there too. There we go. See, so it's not a massive amount. Let's have a look at that in comparison. Alright, so probably what I would do is bring my white in. Just my white pencil, not my chalk pencil. And just sort of help to blend those out a little bit. It just sort of gives it that finish. Almost burnishes it, doesn't it, on the tops. But we've still got that little hint of blue plus the colour behind. There we go. And then I'm going to come in and add some to those. So see, although I've put the highlights on, it's better to do that first and then to go over with the colour. Otherwise your white highlight wouldn't probably have gone over these pencils. You could use pens as well, you don't have to use pencil. You see? Okay, so I'm going to add a touch of blue around that edge there. Okay. You see, it just sort of makes that a little bit darker around that edge there. And same around this one. So I'm not pressing on at all, I'm just taking my time. So because there's pencil already being shaded there, it doesn't need so much. Again, I'm going to go around that edge too, just with a little bit. There we go. So just sort of across these, let's bring in, let's have a look, a little bit of a pinky colour, pinky and magenta-y kind of colour, and just sort of where these sections are, just going to add a little bit in there. Now we've already added a little bit of highlight, so this is just sort of making that corner bit a little bit heavier in terms of the depth. You see? And of course this is going to take a little bit longer than 5 minutes on a video to show you. So hopefully just by showing you one, you'll see where you could actually add extra bits and pieces. It depends entirely on what you want to do with it. So I don't have a finished sample of this. I've got the finished drawing or the finished outline, but I've not coloured it. You see, just adding that little bit. And then you can decide if you want to sort of build it up or add something more to it, that kind of thing. Yeah? Alright, let's have a look at this. Oh, Bev, I know, she's not been very well as our Les. She's got quite a cold. Quite a bad one. She's had it on and off for a few weeks. It's one of those, so she was very definitely in bed and out the way yesterday. So, there we go. All right, so you can see where that's now started to come out. If I show you that compared to this one, you can see the difference. You see how adding those extra bits and pieces. So maybe here, look, I might want to add in a little bit of colour. You see, just sort of picking up on little bits. It's going to start to change the way the piece looks. Let's see, so there I've just not even thought about blending anything. I've just literally gone in with one colour and added some to it. There you go. So it's entirely up to you, whatever you want to do with this now. You can sort of play along to your heart's content, and I really look forward to seeing what you're going to do with it. So just as I promised, if I just fetch the one that we did last year, which is just on my wall here. Hang on a second. This is what we did with it, or this is what I did with it. There you go. So you see I did a bit of a border around it. I did some little nouveau. And then I've actually stitched each tile to the cardstock at the back. I've added a little bit of colour in places. I think actually I used coloured pencils on this. So you can see how it's sort of started to come together, and I've got little nouveau drops lying around all over the place. So that was last year's. Here we go. Let's move up a little bit. That was last year's. So once, see I used different coloured tiles there. I went with monochromes. So this year's, once it's got the colour and a bit of a border around, I think it's going to look fabulous. And another one certainly for the wall. So, okay, I hope that's given you a little bit of an insight as to how you could colour it and what you could do with it. But it's entirely up to you, and just have a bit of fun. And I really do look forward to seeing what you come up with. And of course, I'll be adding little bits to this, and I will post it and show you what I've done with mine. So, okay, have a wonderful Christmas, everybody. And, you know, really enjoy yourself tomorrow. Don't drink too much. Don't eat too much. And we'll see you soon. So I'm still looking at doing a regular tile, which will be, is it 305 on Tuesday? But no obligation again to be around if you're busy. It's just going to be there. So, you know, if you want to have a little bit of me time over the holiday, please feel free to join me. So, okay, other than that, maybe I'll see you tomorrow. I'd love to see your messages. And if you have got any photos of your Advents, then please send them in. That would be lovely. And I'm going to really push and ask them to show some photos. So that'd be great. So thank you ever so much, everybody, for your help and support. And hopefully, you know, after Christmas and the New Year, we'll be doing some new things. So take care, everybody, and Merry Christmas. Bye.